Hi, I'm Kim Treadwell, a member of the faculty of the Department of Psychological Sciences, and today we are here for basic training on the participant pool. First, I want to go over what is the pool. The pool is a service on behalf of the department that facilitates recruitment of undergraduates for experiments by faculty and their graduate students. The faculty and graduate students must be in the Department of Psychology to access the pool. And the undergraduates we access are from the General Psychology 1 and 2 courses at the Storrs campus and regional campuses. Now, who's running the pool this semester? You will see here the TAs who are currently monitoring and implementing the Sona pool recruitment website for us. The lead TA has the contact information by email at the bottom of your screen. Although we do have one central email that you can contact all of us at, and that is the first step for contact. If for some reason, after 24 hours you have not heard back from the pool, you can contact the lead TA at the address you see on the screen. Next is who are the coordinators. There are 2 coordinators for the pool. One coordinates the regional campuses, and the other coordinates the Storrs campus. The pool coordinator for Storrs manages the entire system, and if there are any issues, questions, or problems in reaching us through our main portal email, feel free to contact the pool coordinator at any time via email, telephone, or in person. Now today what we're going to cover are the basics in creating a study for the pool. So first I'm going to outline how to create a study, and then we'll look at how to monitor the study once you are recruiting the undergraduates. So first, in creating a study is to submit the IRB documents. This is a 2-step process. Both steps must be completed before you may recruit undergraduates on the pool. The first step is to email your IRB stamped protocol to Stephen Malore at the email you see on the screen. That is the UConn Psych Pool Step 1 at uconn.edu. Please rename your file so that it has your last name and underscore and then your IRB protocol number. Also, in your email to Dr. Malore, have in the subject line that same information, your last name, the underscore, and then the IRB protocol. Dr. Malore will review your materials. He is part of our screening process that we have pre-approved with the university's IRB, and his primary focus is to examine whether the recruitment and study procedures will be appropriate for the 17-year-olds that we do have sitting in our general psych classes. He will review that generally in approximately 24 hours, and when he has finished his review, he will email his results to us at our main UConn email portal, and will CC you on that letter. Second part of the process is to set up your study in Sona. Now, while you're waiting for Dr. Malore to approve your study, you can log in to Sona and create the study. So that's what we'll talk about next. Step 2 is creating the study on Sona. So if you are a new researcher and do not yet have an email login and password for the pool, please contact us and we will give one to you. Otherwise, at the beginning of every semester, the pool generates a login and password for every member of the faculty of the psychology department and every graduate student who are all eligible experimenters for the pool. So when you log in, basically the address is on the screen in front of you. And after that first login, please feel free to change your password. You must use your UConn email. That is the default way we find you and contact you with any communication from the pool. And if you ever forget your password, there is the handy forget password link to find out what your current password is. And I will also mention, as we go along, on our main website, there is a researcher tab, and on that tab, we have the researcher manual, which looks just like this. You may download that, and it is the same information I am delivering today. So you may care to have this with you alongside as we go through these steps. So creating a standard study in Sona, which is the web platform we use for our pool. You will see a variety of information in front of you, and the first thing you will enter is your study name. Okay, now we will create a study in Sona, and today in the basics training I'm covering what we call a standard study. This is an in-person, one-time appointment for your study. After you have logged in to the Sona website, you will have a menu in front of you, and you will go to the Add New Study button and create a new study there. The big arrow will show where you create the new study. That opens up this menu, and you will select your study type. And at the very top, you will see Standard Study. Click on that, and then at the bottom, click Continue. Just a side note, the advanced training will cover those other 3 studies you see there: multi-part, online internal, and online external. Next, we're going to fill out the basic study information as you create your study. The first field is the study name. Please enter the name as you wish for it to be viewed by the undergraduates when they select the studies for participation. The next field, brief abstract, skip it. The third one, detailed description, that is where you will enter the description of your study that has the IRB approval. The participants will be reading that detailed description to decide whether or not they will choose to be in your study. The next field is eligibility requirements. You may enter something here if you wish, but please note this is not a part of the mass testing and filtering system. The eligibility requirements will be viewed by the participants from the website, and you can enter things there such as being left-handed or other types of criteria that the participants would select themselves for. Our next field is duration. All the durations must be in 30-minute increments. If you have a study that is over a 30-minute increment, even if by 1 minute, you choose the next increment. So a 29-minute study, you would select 30, but if it is a 31-minute method protocol, you must select 60 minutes and assign credits for that amount of time. Last, you'll see the number of credits for your study. Every 30-minute increment of being in a study is worth 1 experimental credit. So of course 30 minutes is 1 credit, 60 minutes is 2 credits, and so on. Preparation, skip that field. And the next field to enter is researcher. This will be the person primarily responsible for the study. There's a pull-down menu listing everyone in the psychology department that is currently recognized as an experimenter, and you would select that person. The next field is principal investigator. This is generally the member of the faculty that has been identified as overseeing the project. The researcher and PI might very well be the same person, but this is where we would differentiate graduate students or undergraduates and which member of the faculty they are linked to. If you do not see your name on the pull-down menu, please contact the lead TA and we will add you to that list. The next field is the IRB approval code. Please enter that, and then your expiration date for the IRB. Next is the field approved. That is our job. You cannot enter anything there. And finally, you have a question of active study. Please select the Yes button. That will activate your study so that we can see it. And then at the bottom of this page, please click Add this study. That is all you need to do to get your study waiting and ready for us to approve it once we receive Dr. Malore's approval. Now there are some advanced settings that are also available to experimenters. If you care to identify an experiment that they must attend prior to yours, you may enter that prerequisite in the next field. Please note prerequisites are not the same as a filter or other eligibility requirements such as being left-handed. There are also disqualifiers if there is another study that would preclude a participant's participation in the current study you are setting up. You may list those studies in that field. The next place we require information are the course restrictions. These are the sections of general psychology that you would like your experiment to be posted to. Please note that the pool is operated over multiple campuses, and you would want to select those sections of psychology that are on the campus you're operating from. Most of our experiments are at the store's campus, and please select those sections that are clearly at the store's campus. A little hint, all of the Waterbury sections have a W in front of their sections, and all of the Hartford sections have an H in front of the section. If you see purely numbered sections, those are the store's campuses. The other thing you will want to decide at this point is whether you will have General Psychology 1 or General Psychology 2, or both of them included in the recruitment. Three fields down from that, we require more information. One is the participant sign-up deadline. You may identify in hours how far in advance you would like to be identified as a participant being able to sign up. Most people pick a 24-hour deadline to sign up for an experiment the following day, but that interval is up to you. There's also how close to an experiment a participant can cancel. Most people pick 24 hours prior to a study for the deadline for cancellation, but that is entirely up to you. You may set the hours prior to a study's occurrence by which a student may cancel without incurring a no-show. The next field to select is whether or not the researcher would like to have an email for each participant that signs up. You may choose no, yes for signups and cancellations, or yes for cancellations only. There's a final field for shared comments, which would be notes to yourself that can be viewed by the PI, the researcher, and the pool. After this, at the bottom is a big green button labeled Add the Study. That is where you will want to add your study. And that is all there is to creating a study. Next, we'll be talking about how to manage your study now that it is set up in the Sona pool. So once Dr. Malore has notified the pool that you are approved, we activate your study by putting IRB approved, and you are now ready to recruit from the pool. The first thing to do is to post time slots. After signing into Sona, you can look up your study under the My Studies button. Click on the study that you would like to add time slots to. From the study menu, on the drop-down list, the tab is View Administered Time Slots. If you wish to add just one time slot, click the Add a Time Slot button. And if you would care to add multiple time slots that occur one right after the other, select Add Multiple Time Slots. And do note that Sona allows you to copy the information you put to a previous time slot and increase that by an increment of time, such that if you wanted to create 3 20-minute time slots at 4, 4:20, and 4:40, you can copy and paste that information, and Sona will automatically increase the time at which that study will begin. To cancel a time slot, you may cancel a time slot if nobody has signed up for that time slot. You would do so under the Manage My Time Slot button and merely click on the button that cancels the time slot. Now, if a participant has signed up for a time slot but for some reason the researcher must cancel, such as in an emergency situation or for illness, you must email that participant to let them know that their experiment has been canceled. And also, if you're unable to verify that the participant received the email, please leave a note or other notification on the door of the appointment so that the participant is notified and knows that they are unable to attend the appointment that day. You may want to consider, if you cancel in less than 24 hours, to give that participant a credit for such short notice of cancellation. Once a participant has completed your study, you will assign them credit on the Sona website so that they can receive the course credit or extra credit that they are pursuing as part of the fulfillment for the general psychology course. Once again, sign into Sona and click on the My Studies button to navigate to the study that the participant attended. Under the study menu, you again select View Administer Time Slots. Then you can take one specific time slot to assign that credit, or recent time slots if you merely care to glance over all of the time slots within a time period to see how many credits must be assigned. When you identify the time slots you wish to assign, click the Modify button. And so now we'll talk about how to assign credits. If everything went as planned and the time that it took to complete the experiment was the same time you posted, the participant showed up, and everything went smoothly, please then assign them the amount of credit that they anticipated receiving. So for instance, if they were in your lab for 1 hour and it was advertised as a 60-minute study, they received the 2 credits. Now there are a couple of things that might go wrong on the day of a study, and this is where you would then also decide how to assign or not assign credit. So let's say your session goes longer than advertised, such that a 58-minute session actually takes 1 hour and 15 minutes. Even though your research is posted as only a 2-credit, 60-minute study, if a participant takes much longer for whatever reason, they will still earn the amount of credits that are equivalent to the actual time they spent in your lab. So again, if it takes them 1 hour and 15 minutes, that participant will receive 3 credits for that experiment, even if all the other participants finished within the 58 minutes you had estimated it will take. Another scenario is that a participant chooses not to participate. Now this is not a cancellation, but a student arrives at your study and during the consent process decides this is not a study they feel comfortable continuing. They will still receive credit for that study, and you will assign them the credit for the time that they were there. Alternatively, if they are already participating in the study and they feel uncomfortable, or the procedures are not as they anticipated and they wish to stop the experiment, then they will also be granted full credit for the experiment for ending it early. There are 2 no-show scenarios. If a participant does not show up for the experiment, they receive a no-show. One is an unexcused no-show. You have not heard from them and you don't know why they haven't shown up. Under the assigned credits area, you can choose no-show. Now, if a student potentially has an emergency situation that you can verify as a researcher, they become very sick, flat tire on the way to the appointment, something that you can verify, and although it was technically a no-show in that they didn't show up or canceled in less than 24 hours, but have what you think is a valid reason or excuse for not being able to contact you in the time frame, or not show up and then later let you know that they were sick in the health center, then you can give them an excused no-show. They don't receive credit for that study, but it also does not count against them. For students who wish to elect to fulfill their experiment requirement with an experimental time slot, they can only have 2 no-shows, and after that they will be withdrawn from the system. So we take not showing up very seriously because it impacts a researcher's ability to collect data, so that after those 2, they can no longer participate. So if you feel that they do not have a valid excuse, they have a no-show. But if it is valid, please just give them an excused no-show, and it will not count against them, and they can continue to sign up for appointments. The last part in managing your study across a semester is what happens if you need reapproval during the semester. If your IRB protocol expires during the semester, Sona will automatically stop recruitment. What you will do is resubmit to Dr. Malor your renewal continuation approval from the IRB. Within 24 hours, Dr. Malor will approve that, send it along to us at the pool, and we will then reactivate your study so that you may continue recruitment during that semester. Also during a semester, if you change some of the fields in the Create a Study area, the pool will automatically stop recruitment, and the pool TA will double check on the changes to make sure that they do not require IRB approval. And that is the basics of what you need to know to create a study and then manage your study to recruit undergraduates in the pool. Thank you, and again, if you do have any questions, please refer them to our main pool email. So that is it for the basic training. If you have a more advanced study, please view the advanced training for the pool. That is where we will review how to conduct an online study and a longitudinal or multi-part study. Thank you very much, and again, if you have any questions or input, please email us at our pool email. Thank you.